When news broke that investigators and property officials had made a shocking discovery inside Jason Momoa's secluded California mansion, fans around the world were left stunned, and what they found inside wasn't at all what anyone expected. Hidden behind the gates of his massive estate, far away from the public eye, Momoa's home had always been described as a reflection of his wild, earthy spirit, filled with vintage guitars, tribal artifacts, and nature-inspired art. But when maintenance workers were called in after months of the actor being away filming overseas, they stumbled upon a series of rooms that painted a much darker, more complex picture of the star known for his charisma and humor. According to those present, one basement chamber had been completely transformed into what could only be described as a private sanctuary of solitude, the walls covered with handwritten notes, drawings, and scripts marked with words like "find peace" and "don't lose yourself." One worker described it as haunting, like stepping into someone's mind. There were old photographs of his family, his Game of Thrones co-stars, and Lisa Bonet, the woman he once called his soulmate, scattered across a massive corkboard, along with clippings about climate change, native spirituality, and art. But what truly disturbed people wasn't just what was there, it was the feeling the room gave off. One note read, "Fame is a storm. I miss silence." Another said, "The ocean is louder than applause." Insiders later confirmed that Momoa had been battling waves of emotional exhaustion during his rise to superstardom, struggling to balance his fame, family, and personal identity. Friends said he often escaped into isolation, meditating or living alone for weeks to reconnect with nature, but no one knew the extent of his inner turmoil until this discovery. The deeper workers went into the mansion, the more bizarre it became. Entire rooms were filled with driftwood sculptures he'd carved himself, some resembling faces twisted in emotion, others shaped like waves or animals. It was like a museum of his soul, one official said. Beautiful, but deeply sad. In another hidden room, they found shelves stacked with journals, years of writing that chronicled his thoughts, dreams, and heartbreaks. Many entries spoke about his deep love for his children and his guilt for being away too often. Others were reflections on loss, particularly his painful separation from Bonet. He never stopped loving her, a close friend later admitted. That breakup broke something in him. When word of the discovery reached the media, fans initially speculated wild theories, but Jason himself, ever the honest and grounded spirit, soon addressed it with surprising openness. In an emotional statement, he explained that the mansion had become his sanctuary of truth, a place where he confronted his fears, grief, and the darker side of fame. "It's not disturbing," he said quietly. "It's real. It's me without the mask." He spoke about the pressures of constantly being strong, masculine, and heroic, both on screen and off, and how the art, writings, and carvings were his way of processing a world that often misunderstood sensitivity as weakness. Fans began to view the disturbing discovery differently, realizing that what lay inside that mansion wasn't madness or mystery. It was the raw humanity of a man who carried the weight of being everyone's hero while struggling to stay true to himself. Today, Jason Momoa has since opened parts of that mansion to friends, calling it his creative temple, where he writes poetry, sculpts, and composes music. What began as a shocking rumor ended up revealing something far more powerful, the truth that even the strongest among us battle unseen storms. And as one visitor later said, walking through that mansion felt less like entering a movie star's home and more like stepping inside the heart of a man who refused to hide his pain, choosing instead to carve it into art.